All right, Doyle Springett, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Troy?
Good. Good day, mate. The dingo stole my baby. Why am I talking like that, Doyle?
I think that might be because of my background growing up in Australia.
Oh, Australia. We're going to talk all about that. But before we get started, I brought something for you.
Oh, perfect. Look at that.
How about that?
The hospitality here is just second to none.
And then I brought something for myself here, too.
Cheers.
I'm kidding. I'm not a Sheila. Here we go.
Oh, I like it.
All right. Does that bring back memories?
It does. Not too many of us drink it over there, but it's definitely what we're known for.
All right. So, again, I'm doing some of these interviews just so the community can get to know the people that are working in Valencia Trails, that are making this a great place to live. And you're definitely a part of that. So we wanted to get to know you a little bit better and share your story with the community.
Fantastic. Happy to be here, and yeah, looking forward to it.
So why don't we start with maybe just giving us your background and what was your journey here to Valencia Trails?
Yeah, so obviously grew up in Australia, as you mentioned earlier. Started playing tennis at about the age of 7. My mum kind of got sick of me hanging around the house one summer and enrolled me into a tennis camp.
All right.
And just had a blast, picked it up really quick, and then started taking lessons, started getting some results as a junior, and then really saw it as a pathway to get over to America in the college system.
All right.
Did 4 years in college, graduated in Oklahoma there, and then in the summers I'd coach at some shroom properties.
Okay.
Down in Miami, and then eventually was the number 2 everywhere. Got a call up to become the director actually down the road at Esplanade. So was the director at Esplanade, and then found my way in a nice home here just down the road with Valencia Trails.
All right. Well, excellent. So I did some research. I did some Googling on you here. Now, I'll read a headline that I found. It says, the East Central University's men's tennis team swept all 3 doubles matches and was a perfect 6-0 in singles play, enrolling to a 9-0 Great American Conference victory over Southeastern Oklahoma State. Was that a memorable experience?
That was probably one of the highlights of my college career. Yeah, we had a really good team, a lot of internationals. And hearing that line, I actually still have that newspaper article.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool. You never know what you'll find when you Google someone.
It could be a little scary sometimes, but
and I also saw through my Googling, I think, that you were an education major.
That's correct. Yeah, elementary education. I was teaching 4th and 6th grade math and exercise science.
Now, at what point did you decide you could make more money teaching pickleball than elementary education?
So I was based in Oklahoma, and they don't pay the teachers too well in that area of the country. And I knew probably after my student teaching, and I was about 6 months in my my teaching career, that hey, I need to go back to the passion. And you always hear, do what you love.
That's right.
And that kind of brought me back to the tennis and the pickleball circles back here in Florida. So yeah.
Excellent. So now you mentioned it in your brief overview there, but when did tennis come more than just a hobby, and actually, how did you find your way into tennis coaching then?
Yeah, so basically around like 12, 13, I was getting a lot of success as a junior and in the tournaments. And growing up in Australia at the time, there was, Leighton Hewitt, Pat Rafter, a whole lot of idols that I looked up to. I always kind of knew that some way tennis was going to be my future and a career. Obviously, everyone dreams to be, top 100 and on the TV, but there's so many pathways once you get to the college. And then, like you said, with my teaching and education background, it was just a natural, using my tennis skills and then my teaching background. It just kind of blended, and as a passion and a hobby of mine. So, best of both worlds.
Now, when did pickleball enter the equation?
Pickleball, probably the last 3 years since really arriving over on the Naples scene. I've always on the east coast of Florida, the Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, Miami side. Very strong tennis. And then once getting over here, 2023, 2024, and I'd already done all my certifications and those degrees in teaching the pickleball side, and the demand was just there. So you kind of have to go with the flow and grab
So,
a
what
thing.
was your personal view of pickleball when you started playing it as a tennis player? I know the tennis players sometimes they don't like
Yeah,
the whole pickleball thing.
at the start, the tennis players kind of turn their nose up on the pickleball scene a little bit. But playing more and being out there and seeing what it entails, and having friends that I grew up with on the tour, definitely it's gained my respect. And yeah, it's definitely a big part of my life here for sure.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about your, coaching philosophy and style. How would you describe your coaching style to someone thinking about taking lessons?
My coaching style is basically, the first thing you got to do is you got to ask, what their vision is. What do they want to get out of it? Are they serious competition players? Is it
Hmm.
for a little bit of exercise? Is it because a partner may play? So you got to kind of listen to them first and get an idea of how serious they want to be. And then you kind of just mold them down the road of, different goals. Do they want to be a 3-0 player? Do they want to win a 4-5, US Open singles? So the clientele basically tells you, what they want to get out of it, and then
Hmm.
you kind of just mold it to them.
What are
Listening is
some of
huge.
the biggest mistakes maybe people make as they're starting to take lessons for the first time?
I think coaches can get a little bit wrapped up in what they feel the game should be played. They kind of have it's their way or the highway, very black and white, and sometimes they don't always make it fun. I think you gotta, yeah, they just wanna, you gotta do this, this, and this, and they're all technique based, and it's not too much fun. So, like I said, listening to what the clients want, and basically their vision of what they want to get out of each session, or goals,
All right.
is huge.
So let's talk about tennis versus pickleball because I think we have a lot of players that used to play tennis maybe when they were younger and now getting into pickleball. What skills transfer best from tennis to pickleball?
Great question, and you'll find the tennis players have an easier transition over to that pickleball side just because of the foundation. We're used to tracking the ball.
Hmm.
We're used to, the volley inside of things, getting up close, taking out of the air. We've got that hand-eye coordination, and we also know patterns of play pretty easy. So hitting that return, coming in, playing that game at the kitchen is very similar to hitting volleys on a tennis court.
Okay.
So all the foundation, the movement, the anticipation, the watching. The biggest thing is obviously the server's underarm rather than overhand. But I would say probably like 90% of the skills
Uh-huh.
we have in tennis, or we learn from tennis, I relate and I put it on the pickleball court every day.
What doesn't transfer as well?
Crashing the net. As tennis players, we love to come in and be super aggressive. Unfortunately, that kitchen line gets in our way.
Uh-huh.
So we have to kind of put the brakes on and slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
And the dinking game is totally not what we see
Yeah.
on the tennis side.
So someone brand new to racket sports coming into Valencia Trails, do you recommend starting with pickleball or tennis? I mean, on one hand, the tennis courts aren't used that much, so there's plenty of opportunity, but do you have a recommendation for someone coming in for the first time?
I think depending on what they're looking to do as well, if they want to maybe be a tennis player or a pickleball player, I think the learning curve on the pickleball side, they're going to pick up the skills
Okay.
and be able to mingle and playing open play a lot faster. The transition on the tennis side takes a little bit longer. You need a little bit more lessons, and then just the growth is a little bit more steady. But hey, tennis is a great sport, and if you can master all the skills on that tennis side first,
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of translate and you'll pick up pickleball no problem as
All right.
well.
Well, that's great. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about Valencia Trails
Yep.
here. So you've been here now for 2 years.
Yeah, going on almost July will be the start of the 3rd year.
What stood out to you right away when you joined here?
For me, I'd never been a part of a plus 55s community. So all my other
Okay.
country clubs, it was a lot more family orientated, a lot of kids programming,
Okay.
summer camps and things like that. So obviously the demographic is a little bit different. And then just where everyone's from, that Midwest type of a little bit more, I would say, friendly, not as direct as the East Coast.
Yeah.
And
We do have a lot of New Yorkers.
yeah, but
New York, New
yeah,
Jersey.
exactly. But I think here everyone's just like a big family. They care, and like I said, it's just the pace is just a little. Most people are retired. They're
Hmm.
enjoying life. as if they're rushing to work, or they got deadlines, or they take phone calls during the session. So everyone's just happy. Look where we are. It's sunny every day.
It's pretty amazing. And we've got a pretty robust pickleball community here. I've never been in over 55 either, and it seems like everything that we do seems to center around the pickleball group. Is that common in these types of?
We're very unique here with the size of the community and the amount of success from top to bottom, skill level teams that we've had. It is unheard of, honestly. Like I said, I've been a part of it 2 years, going on the third year, and to have as many banners and championships that we have, that's something that your communities, look down the road, Esplanade, as I mentioned before, 10, 12-year communities, they probably maybe don't even have that many. So for us to have this much success this quick is a tribute to everyone in the community. They all brought in, they're taking lessons, they're joining teams, they're putting in the work. And it's kudos to you guys that, make myself and Jake's life pretty easy to coach, because you all want to be here. But it's very uncommon, the amount of success that we've had.
And obviously you're fantastic. Jake is as well. So I think we're very lucky that we got two great pros here as well. So what do you think about the balance between the competitive players and the folks that are just here to have fun? How are we mixing that up, and do you think it's working well for us?
Yeah, I think for someone who lives in the community, you have so many different options to play. You've got your morning open play options, which is casual. You can show up. It's for all abilities at any time, 8 to 12 on the weekends, and 8 to 11 during the week. There's some people that still work here. So we've had some evening groups that get together on a Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, and Wednesday at different levels, so intermediate, beginner. So basically, there's something for everyone depending on your level and your seriousness. And then obviously we have all our teams in our competitions as well.
That's great. What's been your most rewarding moment here so far?
I think obviously just the success of all the teams, and just the little thank yous that we get. Obviously we celebrated my birthday, last week, and
that's right.
Everyone that came out and supported me, I was very shocked, and I really felt like I'm part of the family. Obviously I'm my only child. I live on the other side of the world from my family, so kind of feeling part of the community here, and just the support that you guys give me and Jake, on day-to-day basis is, it makes you enjoy coming to work every day.
If I'm not mistaken, we've had 3 surprise birthday parties for you in 3 years. When do you think you're going to catch on?
I don't know. I think maybe around the 4th of February next year, there might be some bells ringing.
We'll see. So let's talk a little bit about pickleball itself. I mean, we're the pickleball capital of the world here. Why do you think the pickleball has exploded the way it has, and do you think it's still going, or are we kind of where we need to be at this point?
Yeah, two-point question there. I think definitely the reason why it's been so successful, I think COVID had a lot to do with that. A lot of people started working from home, and they were able to get out, and tennis and pickleball were the only few sports that, you got that safe distancing, and you're able to still get some exercise and be outside. So that's where it really took off, I feel. It's been around for a long time, but COVID had a major impact of getting people outdoors and onto the courts. I do think it's growing. It appeals, like we said earlier, tennis is such a tough sport to just pick up out of nowhere. Pickleball appeals to the masses, and you can be at any level and kind of get out there and dink. And, we've got some people in the community that are, mid-80s and plus that are out there still playing. And you've got, grandkids also mixing out when they're in town. So you've got that wide variety of people that are able to play. I think it is still growing. It's, becoming more mainstream with different tours. It's getting more airtime on the TV as well, especially in Naples. I feel, as more and more communities get built, the first amenity people are asking when they're moving is, hey, do we have pickleball courts? What's the pickleball?
We're already looking for more here.
So it's always going to keep growing.
And there's some other racket sports. I forget the one.
Padel.
I mean, are those just side things, or do you think those might catch on at some point?
Padel is very big in South America. A lot of the Europeans play it as well. It is a combination of kind of squash and tennis. So you get like we spoke about, some of the tennis players kind of turn their nose up at pickleball. And they've head to the Padel side because it's a little bit more tennis oriented.
It's a little more tennis adjacent.
A little bit more physical, demanding as well. So Padel's going to be there, but I think the big one is obviously tennis, and I want to say here, pickleball is probably passing tennis in Naples.
So you and Jake, you guys also manage the Bocce courts and that program. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in Bocce.
Yeah, correct. So recently just got all 5 courts resurfaced, which was much needed. The bocce community is a huge part here as well. They're doing an amazing job. They have Monday morning and evening leagues, and they also play 2 different time slots on a Wednesday evening. I want to say last time I checked, I want to say there's around 30 to 32 active teams weekly that are playing. So yeah, they're one of the biggest clubs in the community. And yeah, bocce is definitely booming and growing each season.
So a couple things more about you. What's something that maybe somebody would be surprised to hear about you? They pick up on the Australia thing really quick.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I would say I was actually better at rugby than I was at tennis growing
all right.
up.
That's good to know.
And I had to make the decision when I was younger what route to come, and getting brain damage and cauliflower ears wasn't too appealing. So I went the tennis route. But yeah, rugby was a big part of my life, and I was at a crossroads there, and that's now I veered off and got to come to America and have this life here. But
you're always here on the courts. Any other hobbies that you've got?
I'm a foodie, so I like trying out new restaurants.
All right.
So yeah, when I can zone out, I'll try some new restaurants. Big fan of sushi, and then just being down by the beach. Growing up in Sydney, being around the ocean. Here with Naples, if I can get down to the beach and just kind of switch off.
Yeah. What do you miss most about Australia?
Probably the family, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Family is a huge one. Like I said, I'm an only child. My parents still live there, so it's kind of tough. But other than that, I've been in America half my life as of this year, so pretty much home.
Well, hey, I guess as we wrap up, as you think about kind of what we have here at Valencia Trails, what do you see for the future? What would be some additions, changes, if you could help guide the community on what we should be thinking about investing in to enhance the experience even more?
I think we're out here on the tennis courts right now. I think we could grow the tennis program. We've got a nice strong mixed team right now, and every week I'm adding more lessons and I'm seeing more faces out on the courts. I would love to maybe in the next 6 to 8 months being able to hire maybe a full-time tennis guy to really ramp up that side of the business, and add another team, get some weekly clinics that everyone's supporting, some weekend stuff as well. And then, with the pickleball, the demand is there. We can always grow. And, it's basically listening to what the community wants. If they want more events, they want more social stuff, they want pro-ams. At the end of the day, we work for you guys. So if there's something you feel like we're lacking, if we don't know about it, if you don't tell us, we don't know about it. So I think growing, growth is definitely still here. We're pretty much all sold out now. But getting as many people in the community playing all racket sports and all amenities that we have is the goal.
All right. Well, hey Doyle, I hear so many good things about you and Jake and the program that you got here. I think we're very lucky to have you, and thanks for being here, and thanks for doing the interview today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.